Now, apologies, first of all. Those of you who have sort of seen the program are expecting some people much, much smarter than I, a couple of doctors, experts in the field. But they are literally the most sort of sought after AI experts. And as a result, Canberra called and said, we need you on a trade delegation to India. Go here. And then the other person was called to Canberra to speak to senators. Believe me, they've expressed they'd much prefer to be drinking beer here than dealing with diplomats and politicians. But you're stuck with me. Also, I thought I had 45 minutes. I've got half an hour. So I'm going to go through this super, super quickly. I'm going to talk quite quickly. But if you've got any questions immediately, if I've lost you, just put your hand up. And yeah, pretty informal towards the end. So yeah. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you two definitions for AI. One was written by me, right? It took me, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 minutes of writing, rewriting. The other one was done by ChatGPT, and it was done in a blink, right? So I'm going to just read these really quickly, and I'd like you to tell me, one, which one was ChatGPT, and which one was the silly human. So first one, AI refers to a simulation of human intelligent processes by machines, particularly computer systems. It involves creating algorithms and models that enables machines to perform tasks that usually require human intelligence, such as problem solving, learning, reasoning, and decision making. Next one. AI refers to the process of using computers to perform tasks that generally require human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech, recognition, imagination, or decision making. This is opposed to computers that require rule-based programming that is task or output specific. Now, who thought ChatGPT wrote the first one? Hands up. Okay. Who thought ChatGPT wrote the second one? About even. Okay. Kirli's not here. She had this really cool poll thing that did this automatically. I should have done that. Who thought the first one was better? Who thought the second one was better? Okay, so the second one is my one, okay? Now, the difference I think is, I think there's a little laser pointer here, isn't there? Anyway, the second one is the last bit. This is opposed to computers that require rule-based programming. I put that in there because when people ask me about AI, invariably say, well, how's this different to Excel? How's it different to what computers have done, right? And basically the difference is AI, particularly machine learning, can learn from examples as opposed to rules, right? So I've used my personal experience to create an output, right? Whereas ChatGPT doesn't use personal experience, right? And that, I think, is the important thing. ChatGPT is super helpful, but when you're dealing with AI, you do not want to take out the human, right? And I think this is something that particularly brewers, I don't know if we really fully understand this. We have the ability to really embed human passion and creativity into AI the way that it's not, all right? So, just some key concepts. Neural network, basically, they're computer brains, right? They are sort of designed the same way a human brain is. Machine learning, I talked about this. There's a couple of ways computers can learn. It can learn from rules, x plus y equals z, or it can learn from examples. Give it a whole bunch of pictures of beer, label those as beer. The computer can then, next time it sees a beer, go, oh, I know what that is. That's a beer, right? That's machine learning. Natural language processing. Basically, this is what, how, you know, those bots make it seem like, those chatbots make it seem like they can talk to us, right? Large LLMs. You'll hear a lot about those because LLMs are basically what ChatGPT works on. Massive language transformers that basically convert text into code, which allows things like ChatGPT to exist. Also, there's applications, because you can do this for like genes and hop varieties and so on and so forth. We've just scratched the surface of what this can do. Okay, so where is AI being used, right? Well, can you avoid it? Like, honestly, no, unless you're gonna, find a cave somewhere. Anybody who's got a phone, uses Google, has a Facebook account, any social media presence, you are being immersed in AI. Your data is being collected and being used. And really, the big corporations are sucking up a ton of data and then basically using you as puppets, so it's sucking up a lot of data and trying to manipulate purchase patterns, right? We just don't have a lot of control, right? But again, it's very hard to avoid AI. Now, but can we use it? The big guys are using it strategically. Can we use it? Now, I'll be entirely honest. Initially, my background's investment banking. Investment banking size really matters, right? I was really concerned about AI, right? Because what I understood is it needs a couple of things. One, needs a lot of data. So Heineken, a lot of product, a lot of customers, a lot of data, right? I've many fewer customers than Heineken, right? Much less data. The other thing is I was very well aware that AI engineers get paid a ton of money, right? So you need a big budget, big data. That did not look like me, right? So I was really worried that AI would be a weapon that the big guys could use to smash us. That concern was allayed a little bit when I met this gentleman. Really happenstance. We were sponsoring a startup, an incubator actually. This gentleman is the head of the Australian Institute of Machine Learning. The Australian Institute of Machine Learning, which I'll refer to as AIML, one of the top 10 AI institutions in the world, number 3 for computer visual research. He's also head of AI for Amazon, really smart guy. He just happened to like my beer, right? We got into a conversation. I was an AI geek, and we started discussing stuff, and he seemed really interested in beer and AI. I was really surprised he was. And I'll just tell you, he couldn't be here. He's one of the people who was supposed to be here, but I'll just get him to tell you why he was interested.
Yeah, we get opportunities to work with all sorts of people, you know, mining companies, multinationals, all sorts of stuff. Very few of them come with a supply of free beer, so working with Denham obviously had its own advantages, right? We do spend a lot of time going around the country talking about the reality of artificial intelligence and that a lot of the fears are unfounded. You know, the Terminator's not coming. And the opportunity to work on something as obviously positive as making better beer was too good to let pass through our fingers, right?
So the takeaway here is that, you know, one of Australia's most senior scientists wants to work with a small regional brewer, right? And I think that comes as a surprise to many people. And it could have been just because, like I said, he liked my beer, but he was in the process of handing over because he was head of Amazon Research and AIML was becoming massively important globally. So they poached this gentleman who, again, highly respected AI scientist, Australian, managed to get him back from the US to head the Australian Institute of Machine Learning. Now, trillion-dollar companies, so Amazon, Google, Microsoft, were all moving to Adelaide to work with these guys. So I was sure this new director would have no interest in working with, again, a small regional brewer. I was very wrong. This gentleman became my co-founder for Deep Liquid, and I'll let you hear why.
Many people believe that the impact of AI is only being seen by large trillion-dollar multinationals. As we all know, small businesses are a key driver of our economy, and there are massive opportunities for them to leverage AI. SMEs can move swiftly to take advantage of AI-driven opportunities in a way that large multinationals can't. Denham understands this opportunity and has been able to create something truly unique in Deep Liquid. In my years in the AI industry, I've not seen anything quite like it. For this reason, I'm proud to be a co-founder of Deep Liquid.
So, sort of anointed by some of Australia's top AI scientists, I went, okay, I got to do something with this. Now, this is what Barossa Valley Brewing did. Now, I'm not saying that you should do this because, frankly, creating a neural network is very, very difficult. But we launched Australia's first AI beer. It was actually probably the first true AI beer in the world. But we created a neural network, trained over 200,000 recipes, used machine learning to create 300,000 more. We then we got 20 recipes. I'll tell you one of the comments I get all the time when this first came out was, oh, it tastes like a Barossa Valley Brewing beer. That's really surprising. Now, I think that's because, and Matt, we were talking about this, doesn't AI move everything towards the mean? I wasn't really surprised that it tasted, big and hoppy and right, like a Barossa Valley Brewing beer, because I helped train the neural network. What was important to me and my brewers was in there, right? I didn't know it would work, right? But it did. So that's what we did. But what I realized very quickly was the real opportunity was not about actually creating recipes. That took us a year and some of the best data scientists. That's not available to everyone. But what I did realize is that this gave us an opportunity to connect with customers in a way that we could never do so before. So now all our cans have a QR code. We encourage we encourage all our customers to review that beer, and that beer then feeds a neural network that can update recipes and can produce reports, right? And the beautiful thing about this is it does help the brewers, but more importantly, what it does is it creates this virtual cycle where the customer is engaged and the customer feels a connection, right? Our engagement has gone up about 8 times. Now, that's a little bit, that number is influenced by the fact that we did get some decent press around this, but still, what we do see is when the customer understands that they're being listened to, they are engaged. They feel a connection, right? And when they feel a connection, they feel loyalty, right? And this is what I think we need to do. We've been talking about headwinds all the time and about how we can position ourselves to respond to this. And I think ensuring that we engage and communicate with the customer and create customer loyalty and personalize beers, I think this is a secret power that our industry has that the big guys don't. And I think this is a tool to do this. So what I did then is I went, okay, this is an idea. I have a lot of ideas, and a lot of them are really terrible. So I then touched base with just this gentleman. Some of you may know him, Dick Cantwell. He is a very well-known co-founder for Legion, won Brewer of the Year at the Great American Beer Festival 3 times. His partner is Kim Jordan of New Belgium. People I really respect. He's a really straight shooter. I said, here, this is what I'm thinking. He immediately said, yes, this is a good idea. So he's actually a director and involved as well. So hear from him.
I've been in the industry quite a while, and I've always been an innovative brewer. I've made beers using lots of different unusual ingredients and unusual techniques and procedures. I've also always recognized the importance of maintaining a connection with the customer. We want to sell beer, right? Deep Liquid provides a whole set of tools in order to do that, to foster that kind of loyalty, to have a dialogue with the beer drinker, as well as to take or leave some of the suggestions they might make as a group as to how we can improve our beer. That's why I got involved with these guys.
The other thing that I wanted to talk about really quickly is, again, AI can create connection and engagement at a level that has never been done before. And again, I think what we need to be doing is creating value. And if you can personalize a product, you can add a premium to that product in a way that, again, the big guys can't. And again, the things you can do with AI, what we've done is we've created a bar where if we understand your flavor profile because you've reviewed beers, it doesn't even have to be beer. We did this a little while ago with chocolates. People tried to range a chocolate, so we understood what they liked, and then we created a stout based on their preference immediately. And the engagement and that level of personalization was, again, stuff that we talk about growing the category. So many people came up to me and went, oh my gosh, I don't like beer. I definitely don't like stouts. I like this. And I was able to say, well, yes, I think, a few people have said we need to grow the category and we need to find the beer for the person, right? This allows us to do this in a way that we haven't done before. But just watch a little bit of this. Our Deep Liquid bar is dispensing a unique beer designed for one person, not 1 million.
Thanks to Deep Liquid for bringing me Sarah's beer. I'm so glad that I got a beer that was made just for me. I rated a whole heap of beers and they came out with a product that was exactly for me, and cheers.
Hi, I am Anna Thomas, the proprietor here at Treasure 1860, and we pride ourselves on a personalised service from boutique suppliers. How good is the opportunity to drink your own personalised beer? And right now, I am loving Anna's Stout, courtesy of Deep Liquid's AI bar.
So again, it's about the ability to personalize a product. And so where I was terrified about what AI was going to do, it was going to be a weapon to for the big guys to squash us. I think the opposite. I think this is a tool that we can use to compete with the big guys. And I think this because it amplifies our key strengths. The main one is flexibility and speed to market. Again, I've said this, but it bears repeating, that the big guys collect a lot of data but they can't move this ship around very quickly. So they use that data to basically make us puppets to get us to change our purchasing patterns to get us to buy what they want to sell us. What we can do is take that data and then create products that customers want to buy. That is a powerful, powerful, powerful message, right? And it's one that I think we can use AI to tell and really create a powerful niche. And then I talked about data, how Heineken has a whole lot more data. However, that's very narrow. So it's all on Heineken drinkers. So all this stuff, like nobody gets on to Instagram and says, oh, I just tried this Heineken, right? But they do this with our beers all the time. That's data. It's really rich data, right? So we get better quality data, plus we have the ability to get to market. It is a superpower, and we can actually use AI better than the big guys. And again, we can personalize and add a premium the way the big guys can't. And again, community coordination. Like, this is what I think we do, and I don't know if there's any IBA staff here. It's tough to get us all to agree and to do the same thing. But what I have noticed is, and I know I've been doing this now for nearly 20 years, there's a real willingness in this community to cooperate, right? And this is what that is, again, something that's really critical in the AI space, that's sharing the data, right? So I think there's a lot of things in AI that goes for us specifically. So, warning, if we don't do this, we will get left behind. So a whiskey has come to us. These are people that have come to us just because they've heard what we're doing. So it's a kind of a cool project, basically. Generally, whiskey blenders will blend stuff from various casks. So they'll blend whiskey for someone. What we can do is we can send high-end whiskey connoisseurs a box like this with vials of whiskey from casks. They rate and review those, so they are blending with the master blender, right? Where we've been approached to do something with a convenience store chain, non-alcoholic, so those AI bars, personalized non-alcoholic drinks. No word of a lie, just about 2 hours ago, I got an email from a very large winery saying, hey, I heard what you're doing, can we talk? Their global innovation manager. My point is, innovation hasn't been the core of what we do, right? We need to be aware of what's coming, and we need to use AI to fuel this innovation that we have. If we don't, all we've been hearing about, the spirits, taking over our slice of the market is only going to get worse, because these guys are on top of this. I'm already taking calls, but I'd much prefer to work with you guys than them. So yeah, this might seem grandiose, but I honestly think it is our responsibility, right? To, even if you're not going to integrate AI, you need to be part of this conversation, because there's two models that are becoming sort of obvious. Basically, AI is being used by the China's Xi Jinping. He's collecting a ton of data, and governments are saying, okay, this is how we're going to use it. That's not a good model. But on the flip side, we've got the Googles, the Amazons, the Mark Zuckerbergs also collecting a ton of data and saying, okay, this is how we're going to use it. I was having a chat to the head of AI for Google. Brilliant guy, love him. But still, I think he's a very sort of honest person who feels the weight of this responsibility. It's not good that it's in a few hands. What I think we should be doing is democratizing AI. Right? We can literally put the power of data and AI into everybody's hands via our cans, right? And if we can democratize AI, that is the most responsible use. And then we can have discussions on trust and transparency. There's all these opportunities and risks, right? And so that's a good segue. I'm talking very quickly, I warned you, because I wanted to spend time. There's a lot of knowledge, wisdom, experience in this room. And so I wanted to open up to questions. I know Matt has some, and I'm sure I will learn as much as you guys.
I'll bring the mic. One of the things that you said a number of times was the big guys can't do this. And I don't understand, you're taking a call from a global head of a winery, which sounds like a big guy. Why can't the big guys just take this and do the same thing?
Because the big guys can't turn a ship around very quickly. They don't want to, they understand this is coming, right? So, but what a big guy can't do is go, okay, so this winery that is producing X amount of wine, and wine's a very good example. That takes a long time to bring a product to market, right? We can, in 4 or 5 weeks, go, okay, this is what the market's saying. So, and we can connect. So I don't know if Will's here from, yep, Will's over here. So we're working with local producers to do stuff immediately. Curly, she said she was going to come here, but no, like, Beer Matters, we can work with all these guys to very quickly understand what the market wants, work with the local producers. AI is not the domain of the big guys, right? We are small and nimble. Those big guys, I'll take their calls, right? But they can't move as fast as we can. That's the difference.
Anyone have any questions?
Just in terms of your experience with Barossa Valley Brewing, with the responses that you're getting from those QR codes, I mean, are you getting too much information, like, in terms of this? All these things that were running through my head when you're doing that, like if it's an IPA but it's sort of been in the market for 8 months, you're getting different feedback because it's sort of lost some of its flavour, or do you get the same customers who provide different feedback on the same beer over a period of time, all that sort of stuff? I mean, I imagine there can be just too much information.
Well, that is an excellent question, and it does sort of, you have to sort of change your understanding of what AI can do. Yes, information overload is a huge issue, but what AI is really good at doing is filtering out all this stuff and putting it in a fashion that, yes, it can identify, where you've drunk that beer, when it is, how old it was, has this person been doing this before? We were talking there, it can be anonymized, but we do encourage people to sign up so we know, and we'll ask questions, are you in the industry? Are you a novice? Blah, blah, blah. So it can filter out all this stuff. And that's what AI is so good at doing. What we're really good at doing is being creative, right? We're not good at processing immense amounts of data. AI is able to process and filter unlimited amounts of data.
But in terms of the data that we're getting, one of the things that brewers hate, and we talked about this before, the Facebook people or the WhatsApp, the Untapped
Yep.
People who are reviewing beers that they don't know and giving meaningless feedback. And I don't understand how you filter the people that we don't want to hear from anyway.
So I'll tell you, this is, I think, one of the real benefits of what we do, right? Because, all brewers have a love-hate, mainly hate relationship with Untapped because of all, the rubbish, right? And we can't filter all this out. What we are doing is we're working with some platforms that are actually same sort of thing, but doing it so it's not public, right? So your reviews go via a AI that filters out stuff. So what happens is we will say, these are the parameters, right, for our beer. Anything that isn't in these parameters, right? So if somebody says, this sour isn't hoppy enough, it doesn't impact that information that feeds through the brewers. And this is really what I think is important. People get really annoyed when they feel like they're being dismissed or not heard. We can hand on heart say we heard, right? It's just not being actioned. And AI is really good at that, much better than us. I mean, we start going through this, like, I don't have hair, but if I did, reading all those Untapped reviews, I would have lost it ages ago.
I just wanted to say I'm really excited about everything you've just said, and you said it very quickly and very eloquently, but I wonder, are you worried about this rapid move towards modernisation and AI and the move away from maybe traditional principles of beer, old methods, techniques, things like that? I know you're not talking about that specifically, but is that something that's sort of come into your mind as far as moving the industry in a direction where it's away from its traditional values?
I think that discussion needs to be had, and I'm very glad you asked. Like, I'm talking very quickly because I'm very well aware of time, but I think that is so important. I mean, this is one of the oldest industries. So, anthropologists, the respected ones, say, 8,000 years ago we stopped being nomadic because people, found fermenting, grains, and, it was basically beer. Like, okay, beer's here, I'm not moving. And so it absolutely changed, and so yeah, there's an argument, let's not mess with this. But I would also argue on the flip side that, the Germans do this really well. They protect, they've got that Reinheitsgebot, and they protect that. But they're also super innovative, right? There's nobody there who has gone, refrigeration, nah, I'm not going to do that anymore, right? I think we have to responsibly integrate this, and we can use it to protect what is important, right? But it's like any other tool. We need to have a discussion on how we use it.
I think we're getting the wind up at the back of the room.
Wind up.
Big round of applause. I'm sure that Denham is available.
I'm going to
for
be
more
hanging
questions.
around, so yeah.